Welcome to the podcast, The Pilgrim and the Monk. A developing story of a pilgrim who is seeking the truth, and a monk who helps him find the way. Written by Timothy G. A. Cooper. Narrated and produced by Greg Cooper. Chapter 136. 4 Lies.
Monk, the last time we talked, you mentioned the 4 lies of the evil one.
I remember. We spoke of the lie that we would be like gods. It is foolish for the creation to believe it is equal to the Creator.
That's right. Would you explain the other 3 lies?
I would be happy to, Pilgrim. The first lie is, you will not die.
That's obvious.
Is it? There are so many powerful people who are actively pursuing immortality through science. They sincerely believe the lie of the serpent that death is not inevitable.
I hadn't thought of that. It makes sense when you see how focused our culture is on youth.
That it is. Another lie of the serpent is, your eyes will be opened.
That's partly true, isn't it? Our eyes were opened to sin.
You are very clever, Pilgrim. What makes these lies so insidious is that they often contain a kernel of truth. You are correct in what you say, but only to a point.
Really? How so?
To have our eyes opened is also to have our innocence stripped away. Once it was lost, so was our incorruptibility from sin.
It is difficult to imagine what we lost when it was never truly part of our lives. It reminds me of those coming-of-age stories where we idealize the emergence into adulthood.
It makes me think of evil people who destroy the innocence of children by exposing them to all manner of wickedness.
That kind of thing makes me very angry.
The last of the lies is certainly not the least. It is that we will know good and evil.
Again, Monk, isn't that sort of true?
Only if we had the moral fortitude to choose good. In truth, we only know evil. Consider Paul's exposition in Romans 3. He begins by declaring that all of humanity is under the power of sin. He goes so far to say we are slaves to sin. We are powerless under its power.
What about when Paul writes he knows the good he ought to do, even if he chooses not to do it?
Pilgrim, I am so pleased that you brought that up. It is only those who are freed from the bondage of sin who live with the power of choice. We are not condemned to do evil. With the power of the Spirit, we may choose to do good.
I guess what Paul's saying is that even though we have a choice, it is still a difficult one to make. 2 natures still battle within us.
That is a keen insight. The freedom to choose good over evil comes only through the power of God. We must practice the discipline of obedience to Him.
You know, Monk, you're right. Those lies are still being told.
The evil one only has that in his arsenal. He must repackage them in different forms for each generation.
By knowing the truth, we have an advantage over him.
That is true. But never underestimate his seductiveness. Our only power comes from the Lord and His Spirit. The evil one can never be overcome by our strength.
That's a terse reminder of the spiritual battle we live every day.
That is true, Pilgrim. But in Christ, our victory is assured.
You've been listening to The Pilgrim and the Monk. Written by Timothy G. A. Cooper. Narrated and produced by Greg Cooper. We hope you enjoyed this production. Please join us again for the next episode.